Hello and welcome to my channel. On here today on the workbench we have got a Sovereign Strimmer that I got off my friend Chris alias Yorkie. It's got a few issues. One of them, it is not starting very well, and the other one is when you go to pull it and it actually does start, the strimmer head, the bit that the wires come out the head, strimmer head, it's turning on tick over. Now it shouldn't be doing that for safety reasons. It should only turn when you pull the trigger and rev. So we need to have a look at that. So what we'll do, we'll flip the camera down, I'll show you what I've been up to, and then we'll take this clutch out and see if we can find if it is actually the clutch it's faulty on here. Okay, the strimmer's on the bench now. It's got two issues. It doesn't start very well, and the strimmer head on tick over, when it does start, is spinning. Now that shouldn't be spinning for safety reasons, hence it should only spin when you pull the acceleration trigger or you raise the revs on it. It's a safety issue. So, you know, imagine you was working on it and you put the strimmer down on the floor and there's a load of stones. If that's still turning, it could possibly flick up a stone and smash a patio door or a French door or something. So, and also get your fingers near it, so it's a no-no. So that's another issue. So we've got an issue with the starting. I suspect it was a blocked spark arrestor exhaust stroke. And also I think we've got an issue with the clutch. But first things first, I've taken the exhaust off on the pretense that it would have a spark arrestor that I could clean out. If you don't understand what a spark arrestor is, if you look at my previous videos that I've done before, I've actually done a video and explained and how to clean it. This is a cheap model Sovereign. It's a Sovereign make, and they actually haven't fitted one. It's just a bog standard exhaust muffler. So next best thing I've done is I rummaged through the garage and I found some DPF, diesel particle filter cleaning solution. I had a gallon knocking about. I had to clean the DPF filter on the Nissan Terrano when I put a new turbo in it. So what I've done, I've filled up this old baby tin milk here and I've let the exhaust manifold soak in that. That will do the same thing. It's just going to break the carbon down, so I'll leave that a day or two. It can't do no damage. There's no rubber seals in there, it's all metal, and then we'll just run that through with clean water. So hopefully that should cure the problem of the revving up and down. Relation to the clutch, so what we're going to do now then is I will turn this strimmer around and we'll examine this clutch. Don't know till we take it out if it's going to be worth it. I mean, I haven't fitted that many in this particular model, and I think the last time was about 10 quid. Any more than 10 quid, I mean the mower's, the strimmer, not the strimmer's worth, you know, 20 quid, 25 quid. It's not going to be maybe worth to do it, but we'll have a look. If it's under a tenner, we'll do a video on it and we'll do it anyway, I think. So let's turn it round and start getting this clutch out. Let's get this clutch out, shall we? Right, looks like we've got 4 screws here we've got to undo. There's one. There's 2. 3. Well, this is going to come apart easy by the looks of it. What we got here? Right, some wires in here. Disconnect these wires. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to identify these wires just in case. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bit of masking tape on one side of the wire so I know that they connect together. Simple as that. It's a little bit of masking tape. That one goes there. And I'll chuck a bit of masking tape the other side so we know that wire goes to that part. Simple identification. When it comes to, because the wires are the same colour, could be an issue. So now we can take them apart. Like so. what we got here. Right, looks like we got the throttle cable. That can come out. There we go, that needs a little bit there. We're just going to release the throttle cable. Sometimes, while we're here, the clutches are here on some Strimmers. I think the Stills are like that. But this one seems to be tucked behind this cover. So we've got a little bit more investigation work to do to get to it. So let's get this, release this throttle cable. Like so. Nearly there. Right, that's out of the way. Put that in there like that. I'm going to keep that like that for a minute. Right, so it looks like the clutch is behind this part. So how are we going to get this out? You've got 1, 2, 3. Looks like 1, 2, 3 screws. Let's have a go. So that's these 3 screws here by the looks of it. Will then gain us access to this clutch, hopefully. Let's put this down like this. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to move this out of the way so it's not in the way. Gives a bit more room. Here we go. Leave the screw with it so I know it's there, and we'll sort that later. I'll take that onto the cable. Right, let's get this off, see if we can gain access to this clutch. I highly suspect the clutch has had it on here. Well, it must be, you know, because the way that's turning like that. The way that head's turning when it's on tick over. Hopefully this is how we gain access to it. So when you look at me doing this, you know, it's not hard. You know, if you've got a Strimmer at home, an old cheap Strimmer, do it yourself. If it's a cheap one like this, you know, if it breaks or it don't go back together, it's no big deal, is it? Because it's only worth 20 quid. So, but once you've done one, you'll get the confidence and you'll build your confidence and you'll start thinking, you know what, I can do this next, and you'll work your confidence up. That's how I've done it. Here we go. Hopefully we can gain this clutch in a minute. Just want to keep all these screws separate so we know where they go. Hopefully that screw will come off. Here we go. What we've got here. Right-o. Right, bear with me. I'm just going to take this off and have a... Right, I've had another look at here and I couldn't suss it. Someone's taken the clutch out. It seems like the clutch is missing. I have not got a clutch in this Strimmer. So that's why that's continuously turning. Someone's obviously been there before me. So I've got nothing to compare to buy a new clutch. And as it's a cheap sovereign, you know, Strimmer, I'll be stabbing in the dark. If it had been a Steel or a Ryobi or something like that, I could have probably matched it up. But as I've got no pattern to go by, it's going to be like a minefield. So what we're going to do, we're going to scrap the idea of changing the clutch. And I think, instead of wasting this video, we're so far into it, should we strip this engine down and see what's actually inside? Let's strip it completely down and have a look at the piston, the barrel and the big ends. Let's do it. So what we need to do first, we need to get this little flywheel off here. Now, let's have a look, we need a socket for that. Now, if I try to use a ratchet, it's very hard. It's gonna, unless you get a pry bar, you can do it. Put a pry bar in there like that and hold it like that. But when you've got one of these, it makes it a lot easier. So let's set it up. Let's spin this off. There we go. Now, sometimes these flywheels can get stuck. I have got a pulley to pull them off, but there ain't a lot of room. But I'm just going to try a couple of pry bars. It might pop off. The other way to do it is to get someone to hold 2 pry bars and get a rubber mallet and smack the end of that drive shaft. Let's have a look first. Let's try the most simplest way, and that is just to get a couple of pry bars. Now you have to be careful when you pull these pulleys off that you don't break the casing. So we're gingerly going to do this. Here we go. That come off all right. Happy with that. Right, let's do it. Let's move this out of the way. We don't need that. Let's strip this engine down and see what we've got. We don't care I'm not going to use this, and say it's not cost effective to repair. So just out of interest, let's see what's actually inside this engine, shall we? Let's pull it apart. I love this bit. Some of these parts I'll keep, but most of it I'll just get rid of. We say you cut at certain stages when you do mechanics like this, it's just not cost effective, you know, and because the clutch is missing, something's been taken out, I'm not 100% sure what's missing. I could go and buy a clutch for 10 quid and absolutely waste me money. So we're going to scrap this. So let's have a bit of fun and let's strip it right out. Let's take this thing apart. Be interesting to see. There we go. Let's pull that off. Fuel tank, get out of the way. Already we can see, look. There's the big end in there. There we go. And there's the crank. Let's have a look. Should we take the barrel off and have a look at the piston? They're so small. Let's have a look. How are we going to get this off? Quite simple, really. Let's whip this carburettor off, shall we? Take the carburettor off, let's do it properly, shall we? Just strip this right out. It's not going to take long, is it? Let's have a bit of fun. Match this up. Slightly bigger. Let's have a look. Can't quite find the size for that. I must have it out. I thought it was that one. Odd size here. Very odd size. Right, just bear with me. I'm going to see if I can get another socket. There doesn't seem to be one here that fits that. I'll be straight back. Right, found a socket. For some reason, I couldn't get a long one in, so I've gone for a different style socket. Let's whip this carburettor off, shall we? So I'm not keeping none of this. I just want to show you what these little engines, there's nothing to them, so let's have a little play. What we got here? What's holding that on? There we go. That can go there. Carburettor should come off. There we go. Simple as that. Now, when you're working on these, that's how easy it is. We're going to do a full engine strip on here. Let's take this out. Let's take this part out. I need an extension on that. Not a lot to them, really, is there? Let's take this bit out. Take the inlet rubber, well, it's like a very hard plastic manifold, inlet manifold that connects to the barrel. Right, we're gaining access now. Look, we nearly stripped this engine completely down. Look, didn't take long, did it? The old com rod there, look, the old big end and the crank. Right, I think we'll get this barrel off. I'm not going to bother, going to keep spark plug in, just get this apart and just see what's inside. Amazing, tiny little piston and rings. Now, if this had been an expensive strimmer, I would have taken me time to strip it down and repaired it. But as I say, I can't get the parts for it, and I don't know what parts are missing on the clutch. Someone's taken it out, beat me to it. You know, if this was a steel and the piston ring had gone or the piston had gone, it's still worth repairing. But something that's only worth 20 quid to sell, it's just a no-brainer. It's not worth it. Well, I'm just out of inquisitive. I want to take it apart and just actually see the state of the piston anyway. We might find the piston's knackered, and that could be why that weren't starting. The compression was down. But no, even though I did actually do a compression test on this, and it was hitting about 95 psi, which I believe is more than plenty for this to start. So it didn't have a compression problem. All these little screws I'm taking out, I'll use at a later date. I'll put them in my little screw drawer. They all come in. I love this bit, taking it all apart. Now if I was doing this as a job, I'd be laying this all out in order. That bit there, going there. So when I start to assemble, I start from the far end. But as we're not, we've been in most of this. Let's have a look. There we go. That's as simple as that, look. So there's your crank in there, look. There's your crank. See, there's no reason why a DIY home mechanic with a very simple toolkit can repair these himself, look. There's the crank, how easy that is. It's so simple, right? There's the com rod. And there's the little main bearing there, look. That's tiny. Now, hopefully, I could pull this out. Look at that. I love it. And that is a Strimmer strip. That I'm going to keep that. Do you know what? That's so cute, that little piston. Look how tiny it is, look. It's only the size of my finger, a little bit bigger than my finger. That's cool. And that's all that keeps this Strimmer running. When you thrash the hell out of it, it's amazing. That little there, 26cc. Let's have a look on it. 26cc capacity can run all day. Amazing. So there we are. Stripped engine, barrel. Let's have a look at the barrel. Is it scored? Not really. But as you say, it's not worth nothing. So there we are. That was an engine strip. As simple as that. I wanted to repair it, but it wasn't feasible. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And this particular occasion, we lost. Catch you soon on Richard's Home Mechanics. Thank you for watching. Take care.